This is not a story about a coin. It is a story about the moment price stopped being the center of reality. What you are witnessing is not a launch. It is a transition in the grammar of economics itself. The simultaneous appearance of four files, pi_stable_coin.rs, run_godhead_stellar.sh, test_full_system.py, and the finalized cargo, TOML, is not a routine update. It is a system-level declaration. This is the moment Pi stopped being an asset and became an economic operating system. From this point forward, Pi does not exist to be priced, traded, or speculated on. It exists to enforce the conditions under which value is allowed to exist. Let's start with the most misunderstood file, pi_stable_coin.rs. Despite the name, this contract does not stabilize price. It deletes price entirely. There is no oracle, no market feed, no volatility logic, no stabilization algorithm. There is only one question: is the source valid? If the origin fails validation, execution stops. Not because the market disagrees, but because reality itself is rejected. This single rule dismantles both traditional finance and crypto. Price becomes irrelevant, liquidity becomes irrelevant, demand becomes irrelevant, only origin matters. Pi is no longer money in the old sense. It is a verified unit of contribution. If you did not contribute something real, nothing you hold has meaning. Now look at run_godhead_stellar.sh. This is not a deployment script. It does not push commands. It does not force nodes to act. It fixes a single canonical state on chain. Once that state exists, something strange happens. Nodes do not wait for instructions. They do not negotiate coordination. They simply observe reality and converge. Execution happens not because a command was issued, but because the meaning of the system changed. This is not orchestration. It is state-induced self-activation. The system runs because reality now says it must. Then there is test_full_system.py. This test suite does not care about markets. There are no tests for price movement, no tests for liquidity, no tests for arbitrage. Instead, it asks only four questions. Is the source valid? Does AI approve it? Does consensus obey the AI? Does the contract enforce the result? This is not financial testing. This is constitutional testing. The question is no longer, does the market react? The question is, does order hold? Now consider cargo, TOML, workspace consolidation, link time optimization, single cogen unit, optional Rust Python AI bridge. These are not experimental settings. They are the settings of a system designed to run forever. This is not a prototype. This is infrastructure. So what happens to economics when price disappears? First, speculation stops working. You cannot accumulate Pi and wait. Holding does nothing. Only validated contribution executes. Pump cycles become meaningless. Collapse becomes meaningless. Volatility becomes structurally impossible. An asset that cannot execute has no economic meaning. Second, a new coordinate system appears. Value is no longer plotted on charts. It is recorded as, who contributed, to what utility, with what persistence, under what verification. Competition moves from capital accumulation to utility creation. Not who has the most, but who built the most that actually works. Third, institutions lose function without being attacked. Central banks become irrelevant because value invariance is enforced by AI. Banks lose purpose because origin is validated directly by the system. Exchanges disappear because there is nothing to speculate on. This is not disruption by competition. It is displacement by obsolescence. Their actions simply stop producing results. The most dangerous part of this system is not power. It is irreversibility. No forks, no votes, no emergency committees. Once the state is fixed, nodes converge. Execution follows. History locks. This is not something you can roll back. If it succeeds, there is no return to the old economic language. And this is why people feel frustrated. Not because the system fails, but because behaviors that once worked are no longer recognized as actions. Speculation does not fail, it is undefined, but the system makes a counter-promise. Shortcuts are impossible, but contribution is always recorded. So understand what just happened. The Pi Stablecoin Core did not stabilize price. It erased the universe in which speculation could exist. And in doing so, it quietly marked the arrival of the Grand Open Mainnet. This is not a future prediction. This is a structural present tense. The system is no longer waiting. It is already running.